Good evening. My name is Cadet Flores, and I'll be leading 4th Platoon in your operation order. Operations order 2201, Operation Gold Strike. Time zone used throughout the op order will be Romeo. Situation: elements of the Ariana 325 1st Special Purpose Forces SPF Brigade Airborne are conducting operations within AO Panther. The SPF will defend key mission command communications, motor firing positions, and catch positions throughout the AO, seizing and holding key terrain to set conditions for a first mech Ariana counterattack planned for later this summer. Areas of interest extends approximately 2 kilometers beyond our AO to include areas in Ariana and Atropia that provide material, personnel, and moral support to enemy forces. This area includes the fire support assets that exist outside our AO that support Ariana elements operating in our AO. Terrain. The terrain right now is usually wooded hills and low-lying wetlands that severely restrict vehicle movement, but provide cover and concealment for small dismounted maneuver units. There are sporadic sandy areas, and low brush and grass provide 2 high-speed north and south avenues of approach through the AO, but limited options for cover and concealment for dismounted maneuver. Obstacles: Otter Creek in the eastern boundary can be significant and can only be accessed through AO Panther at bridge site Southwest Checkpoint 11. It is a very hard obstacle for dismounted and mounted vehicle travel that is persistent during precipitation. So when it rains, it'll be definitely harder to cross over, especially on mountain vehicle. Additionally, there are dangerous cliffs around Otter Creek and can severely restrict maneuver in and around this obstacle. The remnants of the open pit material mining attempts have created rough, sandy, broken terrain in the western portion of the Alpha CO AO. That will slow dismount and mountain maneuver, but provide some cover and concealment. The weather. Today, the weather conditions are with 80% chance of thunderstorms by 0400. Avenues approach: RTE 60 in the south of the AO runs east to west and is a hardball road that can support 2 combat vehicles abreast, moving at speeds up to 60 km per hour. Within the AO, 2 unapproved roads, MSR Fort and MSR Pin Hill, run generally north to south and allow for company of combat vehicles traveling in column with platoons in column traveling up to 30 km per hour. 1 unapproved road, ASR Cross, running generally east to west, can support a company of combat vehicles traveling with platoons in column traveling up to 30 km per hour. So you have here MSR Fort, MSR Pinwheel, RTE 60. Again, Otter Creek up here up north that has a dangerous cliffs along the way around our AO. And if you have a blow up of here on our terrain model, northeast, the north, south, east, and west. Again, Otter Creek goes all along through here. MSR Fort, ASR Cross, and further south, that's not on the map, will be MSR Pin Hill. Key terrain 1 is a hilltop Vic grid Echo Golf 8 Tree Niner 1 Niner 7 8 Niner This hill is key terrain that provides cover and concealment observations and field of fire that can control the east and west movements along Highway 1382 and north and south movements along MSR Fort, accessing the Alpha AO from Wolverine's AO in the north. Again, that'll be adjacent 1638 Key 1 terrain, or Key 1 key terrain. Observations and fields of fire within the AO varies greatly. Along roads and trails, observation can approach 400 to 600 meters, providing good fields of fire for all weapon systems on the linear features. And once in wooded areas of observation is generally reduced from 30 to 150 meters, depending on vegetation type. Fields of fire are greatly reduced in these areas. Cover and concealment in most wooded areas, cover is excellent as sufficient old tree growth trees provide good cover and adequate concealment. In many areas, dense vegetation and tall grasses provide excellent concealment but offer limited cover from enemy weapon systems. Enemy situation. The Ariana elements operating in our company area of operations are repositioning in response to our company ambush operations. Squad-sized elements have been identified conducting reconnaissance and surveillance patrols in an effort to ascertain our composition and disposition. Within the regimental AO, a reinforced rifle company with up to 5 infantry platoons exists. The precise locations of these platoons have not been identified. Ariana forces have employed indirect fires, most likely 82 millimeter mortars, in an effort to disrupt our freedom of maneuver. These fires have been ineffective, but the enemy is expected to continue to deploy observation posts to identify our movements throughout the AO. Strength and weaknesses. The Ariana military forces within our AO have their strengths from their high level of training and short-range communication capabilities. This allows them to operate effectively at the squad level and then consolidate rapidly for operations at the platoon level. These soldiers are not local to the area, and do not know the physical terrain very well. Their disciplined use of Ariana Army uniforms, the black uniform tops, make them easily identifiable. Some Ariana soldiers wear boonie hats, chest racks, and desert military-style pants and have cell phone communications. They do, however, lack night vision goggles and tactical long-range communications, so their radios are not reliable beyond 1,500 meters. Platoon headquarters use satellite communication nodes to communicate with company headquarters back in Ariana. The Ariana elements are supported by capable motor squads that can usually deliver indirect fire support within 15 minutes of the call for fire using both light and medium motor systems. Most likely course of action, Ariana forces will continue to conduct defensive operations in the AO to hold terrain that have been established for motor firing points. Mission command nodes, cache sites, or terrain that controls the road network. If they lose control of a defensive position, it is likely that they will attempt to retake the positions within 6 hours in order to regain their material and their positions. When we enter the AO, we can expect that the Ariana elements will aggressively conduct reconnaissance of our activities in order to gain intelligence and to support future offensive operations. Ariana forces will seek contact with U.S. forces to disrupt our movements and operations, and will attack SEADIC sites, locations, patrol bases, defensive locations, with platoons and squad-sized elements to destroy U.S. forces. The most dangerous course of action is they'll more likely will take action to consolidate at the platoon level and coordinate an attack reinforced by mechanized forces, with resulting in the delivery of overwhelming firepower on our position. This will be made possible by poor noise and light discipline that will allow the Ariana forces to pinpoint coalition force locations. Friendly forces, higher headquarters missions and intent. High headquarters 2 levels up. Mission CJTF 100 conducts offensive and defensive operations in the area of operations over the next 90 days to set the conditions for transfer of security responsibility to the Atropian security forces. Commander's intent. The purpose of our operations are to assist the Atropian security forces in eliminating threats to their people, land, and government so that they may secure their country from internal and external threats. Key tasks: defeat Ariana forces that remain in Atropia, defend coalition into Atropian forces, and fix locations from Ariana attacks. In state, no Ariana forces at the platoon level or above exist in Atropia and our AUO. Again, for our mission, no later than 0730, Alpha Company attacks to destroy enemy forces in AO Panther to deny Ariana forces freedom of maneuver in the area operations. I repeat, no later than 0730, Alpha Company attacks to destroy enemy forces in AO Panther to deny Ariana forces freedom of maneuver in the area operations. Again, Commander's intent, no change. Key tasks: aggressively locate and destroy enemy forces in the regimental AO. Treat the local populace with dignity and respect. Engage them when appropriate to prevent their demise or gain intelligence. Maintain an offensive mindset and conduct defensive operations only to prevent Ariana forces from retaking key terrain or regaining supplies and materials. Strict adherence to the rules of engagement to prevent unnecessary loss of U.S. and European and civilian life and property. There are adjacent unit missions. Bravo Company will be destroying Ariana forces in sectors in order to secure the AO and set the conditions for handover for security functions to host nations and security forces. Charlie Company is also within our region. Delta Company is also within our AO, also conducting the same mission and intent of the commander's intent. Interagencies, intergovernmental, and non-governmental organizations. We currently don't have any presence of non-military entities, but we could assume that they do exist, but we at the time did not have any information with regards to that. Civil considerations. In AO Panther, there are no civilian personnel, only few villages that are abandoned and void of civilian personnel due to intense fighting. The enemy is not using the abandoned villages, but it is possible that the civilians may re-enter and may want to secure their belongings and property and gather livestock or occupy their homes despite the fighting. If all possible, avoid causing any civilian casualties or cause damage to civilian properties or infrastructures whenever feasible. The erosion of civilian support will impair our ability to complete our mission. Attachments and detachments, none. Execution. Commander's intent, no change. Scheme of maneuver. Platoons conduct mutually supporting operations throughout the AO. Upon receipt of this orders, all platoons will conduct TLPs at 0400. All platoons will cross their lines of departure upon completion of mission and report mission complete and prepare for following operations. Scheme of fires. 2nd platoon, 1st platoon, 3rd platoon, and 4th platoon is the order of scheme of fire. Task to subordinate units. DO, no later than 0500, 2nd platoon conducts a raid on mortar position, objective Viper, vicinity, Echo Golf 84479er71 tree to provide freedom of maneuver in AO. So, 2nd platoon is located right here. Will be conducting their operations at objective Viper. Second, SO1, no later than 0530, 1st platoon conducts a raid on objective Cobra at Echo Golf 84 Tree 59er775 to identify possible Ariana forces and supplies and provide freedom of maneuver for the decisive operation. Again, Operation Cobra, located right there, close to MSR Fort, about west of K1 and other key terrains within the area. SO2, no later than 0600, 3rd platoon conducts a raid to destroy enemy forces on objective Rattler at Echo Golf 8 Tree 509706 to provide freedom of maneuver for the decisive operation. Cobra, right there. In 4th platoon, no later than 0630, we will conduct a raid to destroy enemy forces on objective Boa at Echo Golf 8 Tree 9er1 in order to provide freedom of maneuver for the decisive operation. OOOs, all platoons will conduct follow-on operations. Scheme of movement and maneuver are the same, no changes. As I was. Scheme of movement and maneuver. We will accomplish this mission in 4 phases. Phase 1, planning. In this phase, we'll begin upon receiving this order that was received at 0200 this morning and continues into the line of departure. The LD is crossed. Our platoon, 4th platoon, platoon sergeant, and squad leaders will conduct rehearsals, practicing platoon wedges, platoon Vs, traveling overwatches, bounding, and will also check radio equipment, weapons check, personnel accountability, conduct vehicle checks, and also tend to our sick call through the medic. All soldiers will have 3 MREs, 100 ounces of water, and 3 days change of uniforms before leaving the line of departure. First squad is Assault 1, second squad is Support, third squad is Assault 2, and Weapon Squad is 4th squad, will provide security and will combine with 2nd squad. 1 Grenadier and 1 M249 will be part of the surveillance observation team. The assault elements will have special teams for EPWs, aid and litter, and demo team established by the squad leaders. The platoon sergeant and myself and the squad leaders and the SO team will be part of the leaders recon. This phase will end once we begin our movement to crossing the line of departure. Phase 2, movement. This phase again will begin once we be crossing the LD and ends upon the establishment of an ORP within 1,000 meters of the enemy's vicinity. of objective BOA for 4th platoon. So as you see here, objective BOA is adjacent to key 1, the grid coordinate EG Echo Golf 839er 1 7 8 9. We have a danger area within this area. That's for any personnel that's within our line of fire. Our line of departure will be right here, and we'll establish our base patrol about 1,000 meters from the objective. Once all platoons will use LMTV transport to move to their designated vehicle dismount points. The order of movement is 2nd platoon, 3rd platoon, 1st platoon, and 4th platoon. We immediately radio our positions to headquarters once we are established in our within our patrol base, and conduct and also set up our ORP. Now in phase 2, phase 3 will begin on actions of the objective. This phase begins once our establishment of the ORP, and the platoon sergeant and the medic will establish a CASVAC point, and we'll have an area where we can stage our rucks with the sensitive equipment in the front in case we need to immediately withdraw, and we'll just grab our packs on the way out. Doesn't matter who packs it belongs to, we're just going to grab everything, but starting with the radios and our most sensitive equipment first. Leaders recon will be conducted within 5 minutes after establishing our ORP. Assault 1 and Assault 2 will be placed 500 meters northeast of objective BOA at K1. The SO team will be 300 meters west of the enemy and concealed adjacent to K1, but can still observe the enemy's movements. The platoon sergeant will be part of the support team. The SO and security team combine to place suppressive fire against the enemy and be placed southwest of objective BOA about 500 meters. So there have been placed here the assault team. Myself will be aligned with the squad with the assault element. My support by fire, the M240, M249, and here's our line of our LOA. And again, the key 1 terrain right here. Upon reaching our positions and collecting our sectors of fires and establishing our lateral limits, I'll have no changes report by the SO team. If no changes are observed and the enemy forces remain the same, I will radio the Weasel to initiate the attack of fire on the Arion forces, and he will conduct 30-second round bursts for my M240s and M249. Assault 1 and Assault 2 will do alternate bounding until shift fire once they reach close to the enemy's location. The support and security elements will shift their fire while the assault team gets online, and I will call a ceasefire once they get close within the enemy and are within the danger area. The Assault 1 team will get online, take the Ariana Forces weapons and sensitive material, and ensure all enemies are either dead or incapacitated. Assault 2 will follow through again, ensuring nothing was missed, and provide security when they reach their LOA. I'll receive a laser report, and at the same time, I will go ahead and call for red and send out the EPW team. Once they are completed, White for aid and litter will be commencing as well. And once white is completed, blue will be called for the demo team. The platoon sergeant will conduct the withdrawal plan with the medic, and the entire platoon will, except for myself and the demo team, will immediately leave the objective BOA. The platoon sergeant and the medic will take accountability once they reach the rally point. That will end that phase for 3. Phase 4, consolidation and reorganizations for follow-up operations. Once the demo team has completed setting up their explosives, we will run out back to the ORP and radio blue to signal the platoon sergeant to begin mounting 4th platoon. At the same time, the enemy's weapons cache, sensitive equipment, and facilities are destroyed. Once the demo team and I reach back to the ORP and are accounted for, we will immediately step away from objective BOA and radio to headquarters that our mission is completed, and proceed to CP, which is located at Echo Golf 8418 Niner 6 Niner 6 for the next follow-on mission, and that will end this phase of the operation. Scheme of fires: 1 platoon of M119 105 MM Hauser supports coalition operations in the AO Panther. The priorities of fires are 2nd platoon, 1st platoon, 3rd platoon, and 4th platoon. Coordinating instructions: reporting requirements. Casualties, such as friendlies, HNSF, enemy or civilian casualties. Explosions of any nature, either indirect, IEDs, unknown. Identification and enemy reconnaissance of US or HNSF, as well as contact with enemy elements, direct, indirect fire, aerial, sea burn, EW obstacles, etc. Sustainment: after establishment of a hasty defense, the company will resupply their platoons in the patrol bases or in the defense. Mission command. Company commander located at CP Echo Golf 8418 Niner 6 Niner 6 for all phases of the operation. Second, First Sergeant and XO located conducting logistics resupply. Succession of command: the commander, the XO, the FSO, 1st platoon, 2nd platoon, 3rd platoon, and 4th platoon leaders is the succession of command. Signal: SOI in effect. Method of communication: primary, ASIP, alternate, runner. Passwords: challenge, rock. Password, metal. Number combination, 7. Running password, coyote. This has concluded my brief on this operation order. Are there any questions that I may go ahead and address and to clarify? I do want to clarify that once we do leave the area objective BOA, we are heading back to the CP for follow-on orders and to resupply. But if dictate and we do encounter another enemy, we'll take an alternate route. Best course of action is we'll leave eastbound and head towards this water source here, and then head down south and come back around and take this road back up, and then try to get back into the CP X-ray area. As if, at worst case scenario, if we ever get assaulted or attacked again by indirect fire, or we take contact with an enemy. Again, my name is Cadet Flores, and this ends my operation order. I appreciate you. And I'll prepare to mount up there, soldiers.